All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're breaking down the moment that changed everything in the world of One Piece, the immediate aftermath of the God Valley incident. And look, this wasn't just the end of some pirate crew. No, this was the explosive Big Bang that created new legends and sent the entire world spinning on a brand new axis. You see, the battle itself was over, but the story? Man, it was just getting started. The fall of the Rock's pirates created this massive power vacuum that unleashed total chaos, government cover-ups, and yeah, the secret origins of some of the most important figures we know today. Okay, so first up, the end of an era. We're going to look at what really went down at God Valley. The fighting's done, the island's a wreck, and the world? Well, it's about to be fed a massive lie. Just picture the scene. The whole battlefield is just desolate. Roxy Shebek is down. But believe it or not, he's not quite out. Even after Roger and Garp have taken off, the captain of the most feared crew in history is still clinging to life. And get this, he's not alone. And this is it, Rock's final moment. But here's the crazy part. It's not Garp or Roger who finishes him off. Nope, it's the Holy Knights. And his last words, they aren't some curse or threat. He actually says, "Thanks for stopping me." What in the world could he possibly have meant by that? So the second Rox is officially gone, the entire island just starts to crumble and sink into the sea. I mean, how unbelievably convenient is that for the world government? An entire landmass, a witness to a celestial dragon's failure, and a secret team-up between a marine and a pirate, it just vanishes. And that was the goal, right? The government wanted to just wipe this whole thing from the history books. But the irony is just so thick. Because while it disappeared from the public records, God Valley secretly became this foundational myth for the entire next generation of power players. Which brings us perfectly to our next section, lies, legends, and a lost child. This is where the official story gets spun for everyone to hear, while in the shadows, these incredible secrets are just starting to take root. So boom, the official story hits the papers. The Rock's pirates are history. And there's one guy who's about to get all the credit. A new hero is declared for the entire world to celebrate. Yeah, this slide really breaks it down. On one side, you've got the public story, Vice Admiral Garp, the hero of the Marines, the guy who single-handedly took down Rox. But then, on the other side, the private truth. Garp is absolutely livid. He knows the government paid the press to print a total lie. He didn't want the credit, and he definitely didn't want it like this. And while the whole world is busy reading about a hero they just made up, the Pirate King's crew stumbles upon a discovery that will literally change the course of history. In some random treasure chest, they find a baby who we all know will one day grow up to be the Emperor, red-haired Shanks. His entire story kicks off right here in the ashes of God Valley. At the exact same time, another future legend is being forged, but this time in darkness. Deep down in an underground cell at Navy HQ, Garp is confronting his own son, Dragon. And the chasm that opens between them right here, well, that's what will eventually lead to the formation of the Revolutionary Army. You know, this whole event didn't just create new pirates. It created entirely new ways of thinking. The absolute power and the sheer deception of the world government, it pushed some really important people towards some radical new philosophies. And this is the exact moment everything changes for Dragon. He sees the hypocrisy of the Marines and the world government firsthand. He utterly rejects his father's path and the system he serves, declaring, "I despise you." This is literally the birth of the world's most wanted man. Okay, so to get what happens next, we just need a quick refresher on the legend of Nika. You know, the sun god, this legendary warrior of liberation who frees slaves and brings smiles to people's faces. Basically, a figure of pure, unadulterated freedom. And the world was so desperate for a hero like Nika. So desperate that people like the giant Loki were willing to see him anywhere. He actually thought Roxy Zebek, a guy who wanted to conquer the world, was this warrior of liberation. It just goes to show how badly people wanted change. But the fallout from Rock's ambition? Man, it hits no one harder than his would-be ally, the giant King Harold, who is now just completely consumed by this powerful, soul-crushing guilt. King Harold is just destroyed by this. He's convinced that his own inaction, his choice to go for a shaky peace instead of helping his friend, is what got Rox killed.
And that failure, it becomes the one thing that drives his entire life from this point on.
And all that regret, it hardens into this terrifying new resolve. To make up for what he sees as his sin, he declares war on any giant who commits evil. He turns his grief into this personal crusade to purify his own people, all in the hopes of one day making peace with humanity. Okay, this brings us to the chapter's absolutely shocking climax, where King Harold decides he's going to prove his commitment to peace in, well, the most dramatic and brutal way you can possibly imagine.
His mind's made up. Harold says goodbye to his family and sets sail. And he's not going on some raid or a voyage of discovery. No, he is heading straight into the belly of the beast, Marine Ford.
When he gets there, the giant king doesn't make a threat. He begs. He starts this incredible plea to the highest-ranking people in the Navy and the world government, offering to atone for every single sin his race has ever committed. And then, to prove he's serious, he does the unthinkable. Right there, in front of everyone, King Harold of Elbath snaps his own horns, a symbol of his pride, his strength, and he kneels, offering up the broken pieces as a vow. It is just this raw, visceral, desperate act of submission, all for his people's future. But as this insane plea for peace is happening, the final panel shows us a chilling secret. Someone is watching from the shadows of the throne. The silent, true ruler of the world, Emu, is taking in this entire display. So in the end, the God Valley incident did way more than just end the era of rocks. It kicked off the rise of Roger, the radicalization of Dragon, the beginning of Shank's journey, and a giant king's desperate plea for peace. And as we see, there's a hidden power watching it all. It just leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? As one king falls and another begs for peace, who is really pulling the strings in this world?